looking back at like, when was I like truly so happy? That version, what contributed to that version of me? If you can think back on what that looked like in your life, and hopefully everyone has had that, right? Like that you haven't just always felt like this. Like you do have a version of yourself that you can always look back and maybe reflect on. And you may not pull every piece of that person back, into present day, but find something that you can little by little, like incorporate into your life.
Healing was the warm-up. This is the main fucking event. Welcome to Go Regulate Yourself, the unapologetic, unfiltered love letter you didn't know you needed. This is where mental health meets real life, where growth gets gritty, and where we stop pretending healing makes us saints. Think of it like therapy with tequila shots and a side of tough love. In this space, we're learning how to take responsibility for our shit, face the chaos of life, and become the best version of who we are. So if you're ready for your weekly "what the fuck am I doing" moment, let's dive in. Hey Reg Babes, welcome to another episode on the Go Regulate Yourself podcast. My name is Rayanne, I am your host, and I am absolutely thrilled and excited to introduce you to our next guest. Now, Meredith Otero is a marketing and communications leader, mother of two, and truth teller with a sharp sense of humor and a deep respect for personal growth that isn't performative. Her work and writing explore identity, emotional intelligence, leadership, and what it actually looks like to choose yourself while still showing up for real life. Meredith believes that healing doesn't just make you perfect, it makes you honest. She's passionate about helping women stop shrinking, start regulating themselves, and build lives that feel aligned instead of impressive. Now, our conversation today is so fun. She is a Jersey girl and has some incredible energy in her personality. We have so many similarities, and it was a lot of fun to record this episode. So I know that you are going to love everything she has to say about choosing yourself and showing up even when you have responsibilities. And without further ado, let's dive on in. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Fridays with Friends episode on the Go Regulate Yourself podcast. I am so excited to introduce you to our next guest. We are about to have a wild and delicious conversation about so many things that I think everybody needs to hear. And I'm going to say just, sit down and get ready for a wild ride. So Meredith, how are you doing today?
I am good. I woke up, it was cloudy, but hopped on here. Look, the sun came out. How about that? It was meant to be. So no, I'm good. I today was a good day. So far. We'll see what we get into though.
Right? Who knows where we'll go from here? But if the universe is already blessing us with sun, then I think we're in for a good chat.
I agree. Yes.
Amazing. So now before we dive into the reason why we're actually here, I have a little fun question that I want to ask you right off the hop. Ooh. Are there any habits or ways of doing things in your life that make perfect sense to you, but make zero sense to anybody else?
Oh boy. Oh, I'm a weird cat on so many levels.
Ditto.
Okay. So I embrace my OCD, and a lot of things in physically my life are just very organized, it's like unnecessary in many ways, but I literally cannot start work, like start my anything unless everything in my view and like peripheral is organized. Like I can't dive into my computer or set up anything else because I just feel like, that's a problem, isn't it? Like, should I see somebody? I feel like is there a group for that? I literally can't just I can't I can't like just kick off a day without everything being like, and everything has a place. And it would
Mm-hmm.
be like, if I woke up to that, like I should have left it like that, before I ended my day, but everything has to be in place before that. I can set sail.
Girl, I resonate with that so deeply, not just at the start of the day or like before work, but legit at every moment I'm doing something. Before
Oh
bed,
gosh.
my kitchen has to be clean and organized. Everything has to be put
Yes.
away. My husband always takes a cushion from the other couch and puts it behind his head when he's sitting down. I'm like, I have to
Oh,
rearrange the cushions. Everything has to
hmm
be pristine before my head hits the pillow at the end of the day.
blankets folded. Oh yeah. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
even add a little chop to the pillows. I mean, well,
Yeah,
well, I
absolutely.
mean, I'm yes. Okay, so I'm not alone. We'll be our own group.
Right, we'll start one and then we'll probably find a lot more people like us.
Oh, I'm sure. Oh, I believe it.
I love it. Okay, so now for our listeners who don't already know who you are, can you take a moment to introduce yourself? Let us know a little bit about you, where you're from, what you do, that sort of thing.
Sure, sure. So I am a born and raised Jersey girl. Grew up at the beach. So I mean, I went away, for college and things like that. But you know, I'm always going to be here. My roots are here. But like I said, I grew up here. I was a was glory days. A Division 1 athlete. I played field hockey, all through middle school, high school. I went on to play at Miami University in Ohio. Um, came back and I kicked off my career in the golf industry. So it's kind of a funny dynamic because it's a very male dominated industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I will dive into that probably many times in reflective moments, in our chat. But so yeah, I mean, I have two kids. Charlie's 7, Sienna's 4. Married as well. I met my husband through the industry. And they are going to put me in an early grave, like all 3 of them. Um, but they are, yeah, I'm in for it. I'm in the thick of it. I've met my match with my 2 little ones. But yeah, I mean, just from like outside of family and things like that, me personally, I'm an avid New York Mets fan, and
Mm.
oddly a Miami Dolphins fan as far as football goes. Baseball is my favorite sport, which is funny because I didn't pursue softball for the long run, but in any event, like I said, I love the beach. I love decorating. I'm an extremely like creative person. I love designing, decorating, just thinking through like colors and patterns and all of those things. That side of the brain is where I excel. But I'm a marketing director for a recruiting firm in the golf industry. So we specialize in placing all positions in terms of anybody that works in hospitality, private golf clubs across the nation. So we do a lot in the industry. Like I said, I've been in the industry since 2008. Ooh, I'm giving away my age. But it's fun. I mean, it's you meet so many people, and that's kind of how my whole life has like like come first full circle. Because like I said, I met my husband in the industry, so everything is kind of in a similar cycle through that. So
Mm. I
yeah.
love that. The universe conspiring in your favor, everything finding its way to you in divine timing. Right up my alley.
Yes. Oh, I love that. You think like me from like a spiritual aspect. That's
Very
yes.
aligned considering,
Mm-hmm.
we're in different areas of the world and connected solely through the podcast to begin with. It's really cool
It's
to see how
crazy.
many similarities we have in our journey. Beautiful.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know that although you are in a male dominated industry and have been for some time, there has been a journey of yours of finding yourself, choosing yourself, learning to love yourself. And I want to explore this a little bit deeper because a lot of times when we hear the words choosing yourself, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people imagine or envision this big, bold decision that led to this awakening. And your story, although there might be some moments in there that contain that, it looked a little bit different. So, do you want to walk us through where this all began and what exactly this looked like?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like you don't realize it's happening until you're like, how did I get here? And
Mm-hmm.
like, when did I start thinking that or recognizing this? Because it's never when you recognize it. It's been
No.
happening well before that, that you're just kind of like, okay, well, what led me to this point? And I mean, I think probably for many, many people, thought I thought there was a shift when I became a parent. Like, so that for me, it was 7 years ago. Um, I think about the person I was and the spouse I was and the friend I was, like the just individual that I was prior to that versus like, okay, you start a family naturally, your
Mm-hmm.
priorities change, you're in charge of keeping another human being alive and like allowing them to thrive. So you lose yourself a bit because there's just not enough time in the day to allocate to, again, keeping somebody alive. Now I have two, plus yourself. So it's just, that just more and more to the back burner. So fast forward, I just, I thought, I'm like, all right, so a few years into like being a new parent, there was some household shifts in terms, like my husband changed, his job changed, he started traveling a lot, a wonderful job opportunity, quality of life. I mean, it's a remote job, but did require, does require some travel rather. So, to start as a new parent, I was on my own. I had a lot of like, extended time that I'm like flying solo with this new little person. So,
Mm-hmm.
I'm adapting to that. And, so like there's there was that layer for me. So like a couple years in, I'm like, all right, I have these feelings. I'm like, I just feel disconnected. Like, what is it? Maybe it's still hormones, right? And I'm just like, okay, my body hasn't like snapped back yet. And I just, I'm not all back yet upstairs. And then boom, my second, I'm pregnant with my second one. So they're about 2.5 years apart. So the cycle starts again. You get back in the thick
Mm-hmm.
of like newborn stage and just everything else takes a back seat. Obviously, first and foremost, yourself is like bottom of the list. And, fast forward, I'm like, I would say about 18 months ago, I'm like, okay, I haven't gone over the hump yet. Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I'm the same person. Like I'm the same person, like the personality, like people know me for me, but and like I felt like I had no growth
Mm-hmm.
personally. I was just, I was the default. My husband being the breadwinner, like you know, at the time, and just it was the default. He's got to go on the road. Okay, well, everything that I want to do, have to do, takes a back seat. So I'm like, and I wasn't thinking of it in the moment, but the kids are older now, like they're in school and full time, like they have their routines, and it started coming to the surface, like I said, about 18 months ago, that I'm like, there's more for me. Like, and if I'm not diving into it now, when is that going to happen? And
Mm-hmm.
I think just, and I very like, as far as like your life cycles and the milestones, you're like from like a spiritual aspect, like I deep dive. I did lot of soul searching this past year. And I'm like, obviously nearing 40, and your body, your life just takes these turns and shifts and paths. And I had a lot of opportunities come to me through during 2025 that I probably normally would have just been like, maybe another time, that I was just like, fuck it. Like I am making the change, and I can say that, right?
Yes, you absolutely
Okay.
can. Do you not see my mug?
I mean, it's kind of too late. Whoopsie. Redact. So I made like a big shift to like, I had started like this little, LLC. I actually forgot to even mention that when I was telling you about myself, because it had taken such a backseat. That's how much it had like, shrunk down. I had like a little boutique LLC, or have, but in any event, to one of my freelance clients at the time, loved working with the team who I am with now, like asked me to come full time, which I knew, like, when we talked to, like, we were very transparent about it, but the conversation was really kind of circled around. It's going to be a lot of travel, like travel for me now. So that's now two dynamic, like both parents in the same industry, many times needing to go to the same events, or like now the events I'm going to be gone probably 4 out of the 6 upcoming weeks, like for conferences and events, that 10 years ago, as the wife in the industry, I was like on the back seat of that. Now I'm the one going, and I just said, I'm doing it. I'm going for it. Like this, I have to, if I don't take the leap, I'm not quite sure when it would happen, because I was done taking the back seat. And it's no fault of like my husband, or, obviously starting a family and stuff, but like I was like up to here, because I could sense it in my personality, and just like resentment in a way.
Yeah.
There's so many words to describe it. And, and I'm so happy. Like, I'm so happy that and this has only been 4 months in, and I can already feel the difference because of like the excitement, and I have things to look forward to, outside of like 4 walls at home. Yeah, it's been a big soul searching year.
Which is incredible. And I love the way that you described the journey of moving through the motions and coming to this decision, because I myself don't have children of my own, but all of my friends, of course, in the same age group are in that stage with little ones. And I've witnessed directly the impact that it's had on their life, and the changes that they've had to go through, and the priorities that they've needed to make as number one and number two, rather than the things they used to. And I think it's important to acknowledge that although men and women share a lot of similarities and a lot of roles they can equally show up for, the stage of parenthood really does predominantly fall on the shoulders of the mom. And there is a lot of responsibility, and also just parts of your identity that change and shift, because we're not just talking about how you used to do things being different now, but we're also talking about the guilt that you might feel if you are to leave and travel and not be home. There's so much emotion and feeling and fear intertwined within that journey. And so I think it's really important to be acknowledging that. And I love how you touched on this being a journey of time that took you kind of started with some changes here and there, but eventually moved into this direction, really being solidified in your everyday life. And I'm going to guess, before a lot of the external changes started to happen, there probably was some internal shifts that started first. So if you think
Yeah.
about the signs that you were disconnected from yourself and things weren't working, what were those things and how long did you ignore them for because everything on the surface was quote unquote working?
So funny. I have always been, I mean, I'm an athlete, like, as far
Mhm.
as like I'm always going 10%, it's just my mentality, it's my work ethic, like, and I found myself unmotivated
Oh.
and like it like I just didn't have interest in, like, I was losing interest quickly in spaces that I know and have always thrived. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's not right. And I think that was because now just, reflecting back, was because I felt like there was nowhere to go from there. So it's like, well, why?
Mhm.
Why bother? I'm like in this space, but I can't really grow. So like, eh, I'll
Mhm.
just, it was easier to just deflect and pour that energy, whatever energy I had left, quite frankly, um, into family life. And
Mhm.
I wasn't necessarily like a stay-at-home mom because I worked and I still do, some freelance stuff. I was involved, but like I was no longer in like an office atmosphere. So you lose that dynamic and just conversations of different people, different adults. I think that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, people that just work remotely, some people just don't do well in those spaces.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I enjoy it because of the flexibility, but like I had to consciously find people or teams. Like now I'm back in the team atmosphere and I am like, but it is also remote. So it's the best of both worlds. And I have like an amazing team that I work with. But I'm like, oh my God, what a breath of fresh air. Like
Mhm.
it just, I can, like, my personality came back. Cause like if you're not talking
Yeah.
to anybody really like day in and day out and you're just kind of like doing things in silence, like outside of, yeah, you're talking to a baby, but you're talking to a baby at home. Like it's not the same. Like we're in two worlds here.
It's
So,
isolating.
so isolating. And for those that know me, like, oh God, that couldn't be more polar opposite of the personality that I am. Like, and I've just never, it was also, obviously being a parent, again, you put, your kid is your priority, but I've never been a person to have anyone or anything dictate me. Like
Mhm.
I am not like a rule follower. I hate following recipes. So I hate baking. I don't bake because I
Yeah.
don't like it's too like specific for me. Like I am like a blurred line type. Like I just, yeah, I don't do confinement. I don't do confinement. Um, and if whoever like like they know that about me, it's obviously very respectful, but like, so I did not thrive in that
Mhm.
kind of like minimalistic day to day. And like I said, the motive, it brought itself to a head through like just no motivation and moods. So then it's just a ripple
Mhm.
effect, like then I can't explain the mood. So it's like, okay, so is it still the hormone? Like it just is like a
Mhm.
mental mind fuck just for,
Mhm.
and like I said, it was a string of X amount of years. And then the cycle happens again. And I just, yeah, you, making a conscious effort to like just pull yourself out of it. Or I guess when you finally recognize it, because not many people can recognize it, if maybe having an outside influence that can be like, dude, you're not yourself. Like, have
Mhm.
you really, you know, like you can look in the mirror, but like, can you be real with what's in the mirror and
Totally
make a
different. Yeah.
change from there? So yeah, you have to have, even if it's one or two, I gotta have some people in your corner that can pull you out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I just, like I said, I think the spiritual part of me, I'm not like a very religious person. Like I grew up, I was baptized and all that thing. But I don't go to church. I'm not like that. But I am a very deep thinker, very deep, emotionally, like from an intellect, any surface level conversation, like you've lost me. No, like
Mm-hmm.
you, like count me out. I'm out. So I did that to myself, right? Like I did my own deep dive. Like I had to make a conscious effort to do it and just like peel away these layers of like, what am I not going to tolerate? Or if I got, you know, if I
Mm-hmm.
put, this wasn't part of my day to day, what can I improve, you know? And just, I did that for a while and I just kind of like little by little pulled myself into a position of having the audacity to take on an opportunity that I knew could make things uncomfortable in terms of, you know, maybe like home life in term of like, you know, just navigating logistics, um, versus like happiness and like
Mm-hmm.
pursuing what I know to be true to me. So, and I'm living it right now. I'm like in it and I'm excited for it.
Which you should be. And see, I love that you touched on all of these different areas because the isolation that we talk about in that motherhood experience, or even if for our listeners who are like myself and don't have kids, the
Mm-hmm.
identity change when you're going through any type of
Oh.
identity change, you're letting something go, you're moving forward, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
The isolation isn't just about I'm processing these things and I'm moving through it on my own. But a lot of times it's not having the words on how to communicate with the people in your circle about what's going on, being able to explain it, like you said, and be able to say, you know, is it my mood? Am I just crazy? Am I going through all these hormone switches? Or am I
Mm-hmm.
actually experiencing a real thing and grieving who I used to be as I move towards who I am now becoming? And I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why a lot of times in motherhood, we talk about like building a village, right? I've thought about this a lot because, again, as myself, as somebody who doesn't have children, I think the building of the village maybe isn't necessarily in the care of the child, but is in the care of the mother and in being a support system in
Mm-hmm.
her corner. Because truthfully, women do not lack the capacity to take care of their child. They have everything they need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But taking care of themselves when they're taking care of somebody else, I think the village was really meant to be that support system for the woman and pulling her out.
So I think that applies with or without kids.
Mhm.
I think whether you're a mom or not, you need an outlet from, like if you're feeling a certain way, like or you're just you can't pull yourself out of, I don't know, like if you feel like you've just kind of like plateaued or like maybe taken a nosedive, you know, and having someone maybe outside of like a spouse or significant other that you can turn to whether it's just open up to, or maybe even it's somebody to play like a little devil's advocate, like
Mhm.
push you a little bit more,
Yeah.
maybe, you know, ask the tough question, like somebody outside from like an outer perspective of your living space and day-to-day space to do that. And I or to kind of just let loose with, or I just have a break with, you know.
Mhm.
I think it's necessary with or without a family dynamic in terms of like little ones too. Like you have to have you just have to have different I think, viewpoints and places, and I don't know, places to go, people to go to, that will challenge you, not necessarily always tell you what you want to hear, but,
Mm-hmm.
um, you
Preferably
know,
the opposite. Tell you what you don't want to
right.
hear.
Yeah, right. You're not going to like it in the moment, but like, if it, brings out the greater good, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
But it is often hard to either seek that out or accept it, or, when you're just in your own way, and you need a different set of eyes.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. And I think too, because all of us have different traits, different characteristics,
Mm-hmm.
different levels of conscious awareness and drive and determination in our life. And I know that you've described yourself as somebody who is emotionally aware and also high performing when it comes to work. So, how do you think that these strengths actually caused you to ignore or maybe not realize that you were abandoning yourself? How did those trip you up?
It's hard because, obviously, having a level of work ethic, you almost force yourself, you're like numb to it, or you
Mhm.
numb it out because you have a job to do, and there's people in, like, that depend on you, and it could be somebody's livelihood or whatever it is. And it's just easy to put that on the back burner. But then you're sitting with that. And no, and I'm someone that I'm like, oh God, that, like, how, shame on me. Shame on me. Like, I take pride in the fact that I bring a deep authenticity
Mhm.
to, whether it's the workspace, and then for me to be a hypocrite and make myself numb to that, to that characteristic, or that, like, emotional kind of like connectivity. Shame on
Mhm.
me. So I had to go back to, like, I had to make a conscious effort. I'm like, no, I can't. How can I can't do that anymore. Like, I can't numb in the workplace, or even, like I said, the home life, or any of it. You can't
Mhm.
numb that. And that's just how you get deeper in a hole. You just get deeper in a hole, and you continue to lose yourself. Because if I lost that part of me, and I would look back, I'm like, oh my, like, I take pride in that.
Mhm.
And if I ever truly lost that, and just completely changed, and that, like, I want to change for the better. I don't want to, like, completely change my makeup and the things that I appreciate about myself. And yeah, if you keep getting further away from that, it's just harder to find the right ways to get back.
Yeah. I think too, what we're maybe speaking to with this conversation as well is the shame that we can carry when our identity starts to kind of disappear and we don't know who we are. And we have all these people in our life, whether it be our spouse or our kids or our friends or our coworkers, looking at us expectantly. And maybe that's our own perception of the energy, but they're looking at us like,
Ugh.
are you still the same? Like, figure your shit out, like, whatever the energy might be. We feel this shame of, oh my God, like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what I want. And we can, especially when we're in that high achieving type of energy, want a mask, right? We want to put on a mask and
Ugh.
pretend like we're the same person or pretend like we're carrying that same level of priority or whatever it
Mm-hmm.
might be. But realistically, it's like a hollow mass because there's nothing underneath. We're just forcing something that no longer is present or exists.
Oh my gosh, you just spoke to me. Oh, it's so, it's freeing when you talk to somebody who gets it. But when you talk to someone who does not,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, oh God, am I overthinking this? Or I feel like I shouldn't be thinking this. Like I should, like, how dare I, And I'll give you an example. So I am one of three sisters, and we're all 3 years apart. I'm the youngest. I have my middle sister and then my oldest sister. Kind of just quick dynamic wise, my oldest sister has been married. My God, I don't even know. They were high school sweethearts. She's in her mid 40s. So literally, she's been with him longer than she hasn't. Has like barely knows how to write a check. It's never been in the workplace, like a corporate work, like no dynamic like that. Stay-at-home mom type of like completely different lifestyle, life stages, experiences, like completely different. My middle sister and I are we're like our own twin flame. Like we're like our own soulmate because we're very, very much the same. And she went through the same period at 40, like almost 40 years old. Like, and I remember having conversations with her because we're like 3 years apart. And I'm like, Steph, like, are you sure? Like, not getting it because I wasn't in it at the time. Like, and I'm still kind of like delulu on my own thing, X amount of years ago. And I get it now. Like, I get it now. And she's like, you feel me, like you're going like you have seasons of your life. And I'm like, dude, I do. Like, I know I'm in it. Like, and she's like, fuck, it sucks, right? Like, you just don't know where to go. And I'm like, but that's where like, we'll just, we'll be Delulu together. Like, we'll just, we were our like sounding board, but like, we get it. So we try to talk to our older sister about it. She's so fucking clueless. Like, she has no idea. Like, she doesn't get it. She's like, you've changed. And I'm like, well, if I'm not changing and if I'm not growing, like, shame on me.
Yeah.
Like, she just, like, God love her. Like, she doesn't know any different, but like, she can't relate. Like, she just has no idea because her oldest is 16 years old. Like, she's just gone through literally the last 16 to 20 years of her life, like really kind of in the same spot. And that's all she knows. Whereas like my other sister and I, we've seen multiple jobs, like, we've different friend, like just different vibes of life, like just going through it, like all different phases. Our vibrations have kind of gone all over the place. So we get the feeling of the feeling. Like, that's all I could say is like, it's the feeling. And some get it, some just, they don't, or maybe won't. Hopefully, maybe not ever. Maybe they can stay delusional, like, or whatever, and they don't recognize it and they just live their life. But I'm grateful for talking about it, like outside of, having an opportunity like this, like to talk openly about it. But you mentioning the guilt aspect of it. So it's funny, that was a whole nother period of it. And like, yeah, my kids are young, but they are sponges. And I'm like, what example am I setting here? If I'm going, going through the day to day and they see me like in a shitty mood or just like irritable and not really seeing me do anything. Like, yes, they know that I'm working because like I'm on a computer, right? Like that's in their little heads. They don't know, and that's all I'm doing. But then they see that I'm like, I get this irritable bad mood. So like in their little heads, are they going to look at work as like a shitty thing? And it shouldn't be a shitty thing. Like, if you want to work, if it's something that you want to do and you take pride in, I want to show that. I want
Mm-hmm.
them to understand that work doesn't have to be shitty. And like, that's not the correlation. Like mommy just has to figure the fuck out, like what she wanted to do. And like
If only you could
what
convey that
her,
message.
right. Like mommy's just fucking going nuts. Right. Like, but,
Mm-hmm.
they're not like, they wouldn't know that that's not what's happening, So me taking this leap that changes the dynamic in what my work day, which may be travel and like, or meet like different meetings or things like this, that I get to talk to fun people and like different people and um embrace things outside of like, I don't know, the computer and just typing away without talking to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
That, and there's joy in it. That's a different example that I'm hopefully setting, because they're going to see a difference in my demeanor, my self. So, I'm trying, like, God, any damage that I've done, hopefully we can turn it around going forward.
I always say it's impossible not to traumatize your children. So
Oh, Christ.
that's just how
Fair.
it is, right? We're gonna say or do something that's gonna register different in their mind, and we're always going to have to heal. That's part of the human experience. And so I strongly
Yeah.
believe in living your life, being the best parent you can be in the best way you know how, and teaching from the actions that you take in your life and how you care for yourself. I think that they truly learn the most by watching you
Hmm.
rather than hearing what you have to say. So I think that is a big part of it. But I did want to ask you, because I know that when you were talking about your journey, you were talking about your sense of safety, of self trust. And I want to know when you first realized that you were outsourcing those things to people's opinions, because that oftentimes trips us up in our journey where we don't do something, we don't take that step, we don't take that leap, we don't quit that job or make this decision because we're afraid of what somebody else has to say about it. And I know that it held me back in so many areas of my life for a long time. So when did you realize that you were giving this to somebody else and allowing that to dictate what you did in your life?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I'm a very family oriented person, and my family, like my side of the family, is extremely opinionated. They're opinionated people. Um, so I feel like a lot of just decisions, or I don't know, things I may not have expressed, or I mean, full transparency, there's a lot that I don't even talk about because
Mhm,
of the opinion, or like the outlook of it, or the stigma on it, that,
mhm,
well, you know, how dare I have different needs than I had 10 years ago, or things that I maybe overlooked 10 years ago. Well, I was a different freaking person. Like at
the
29 versus
audacity of you.
39. Yeah, like the nerve. Like, but it's also like, well, how can you expect someone to change because you have? And I'm like, I don't expect them. However, if we're not growing together, like the dynamic of me and that person are going to change.
Mhm,
So I I'll be honest, the dynamic of my sisters and I mean, I love them to get to death, but I can see the dynamic of me and my oldest sister has changed versus my middle sister and I, because of like not getting it. I go back to the service conversations. Like I can't go deep with her because cannot relate. I just can't get there, and like it's exhausting, and I don't even want to put it on her because it makes her think too much. And that's like, she's got her own shit to worry about. And like, I don't even bother going in that direction. We're great. I mean, I adore her. I love her. I know that there's places I don't go with certain people. Because I already, like, I can sense not aligning, and I don't need the setbacks because I really don't care. I got to a point where I don't care about opinions. I'm at a point, like, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe I'll see you less, but like, guess what? I'm going in one direction, and you were part of a season in life, you know, certain friends, whatever that is, whatever relationship that reflects, like, um, the safety of my well-being and my mental capacity, and preserving my, quite frankly, my audacity. Like, I'm preserving that because that's what forced me to like start making some friggin' changes. On just going back to like like recognizing a version of myself that I had been for so long, and going back and bringing that person back, you know, in a new season, obviously. And if they don't like it, like, find somebody else. It's just, it's one of those things. Like, yeah, I mean, or just like, yeah, like, I just don't expect more from me, right? Like, don't, like, that's where I'll leave it at surface level, because it's
which
just
isn't a
not
bad thing at all.
Yeah, it's not worth the setbacks.
How would you say that taking your power back and not giving a shit about other people's opinions and recognizing that you can trust yourself changed the way that you communicate, even when it made you less palpable?
Honestly, I think I just cut to the chase more. I mean, honestly, I just, like, the fluff is gone. I've always taken pride in the fact that I'm a really good listener, and I will absorb different perspectives and viewpoints, and, you know, I make a conscious effort that it is always a two-way communication. It's my way or the highway as it pertains to my life. But when it impacts other people, like I said, from a professional sense, anything like that, like, I 1000% value two-way, you know, constructive conversation and communication. Like I said, I, again, don't, like, I will go below the surface. Like, I will peel the layers away. So I'm not like a blunt, like, just, you know, it's my way. That's not the, that's when it comes to me. But, like I said, I will play devil's advocate too, just to like I said, if it brings out a deeper, maybe, I don't know, perspective, different like angle of something, just to better understand both sides. So like I said, I value that. And I've always taken pride in being a good communicator, and listener too. So, because it takes two. I mean, you got to hear, you have to give everyone the floor.
I want you to speak a little bit about choosing yourself, because as we said at the beginning, a lot of people think of it as this big, bold decision. And a lot of times we associate that or frame that with things such as quitting, leaving, or blowing things up in your life. And so I want to know, what does it actually look like to choose yourself when you have responsibilities, whether that be a spouse and kids, or that be something like a job or whatever it might be? How do you actually choose yourself when you have responsibilities?
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a position of having children, that's first and foremost. You have to think of like how, the shift will impact them. Um, First and foremost, like I said, from like a logistic standpoint, like my life, my day to day is going to change. Um, like I said, the travel and things like that. And we just have to figure that out. But prioritizing who and how it will impact, only the individual can decide how much that weighs in to how drastically they're changing or how quickly they're going to make their changes, like to
Mhm.
themselves, to whatever that whatever it is that they are shifting in their lives. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, it's gonna hold a different level based on
Mhm.
every relationship. I mean we had my husband and I, we have had very tough talks like that. You know, if like we have to make some changes, or it's I can't keep going in this direction, like that's not fair to you, that I am feeling this way because you're getting the brunt of it, but like I can't wrap my head around it yet. I know I need something, and whatever that's going to be, like it's going to require change and growth,
Mhm.
and you got to be on board with it, or we have to figure out some sort of like happy medium, whatever that looks like, in the long run. And we've had, those discussions, and it's always a work in progress. Like, listen, I am no peach like every day. Like I'm not like this completely changed, person. Like I have my moments obviously still, but it's it's going to take some tough adjustments, or it
Mhm.
could. I mean, like I said, it could. It depends on how the support that you get too. I don't know. It's really depend. And like I said, it goes back to showing the authenticity of the relationships in your life and the true colors, like how that's going to play out.
Mhm. So for the listener who's currently exhausted, feels responsible for everybody else, and hasn't found a moment to prioritize anything for herself, where would you suggest that she start?
Ooh, well, I feel like if you can look back. So for me, it was like looking back at like, when was I like truly so happy? Like
Mhm.
that version, what contributed to that version of me? If you can, if you can think back on what that looked like in your life, and hopefully everyone has had that, right? Like that you haven't just always felt like this. Like you do have a version of yourself that you can always look back and maybe reflect on. And you may not pull every piece of that person back to, into present day, but find something that you can little by little like incorporate into your life. So for me, I I was always a very independent person. Like I graduated college, I couldn't wait to get out. I couldn't wait to get my own place. I couldn't wait to start working. Like I just wanted to be on my own, want to do my own thing. You know, it's it's a reflection of my own house. Like I things my own way and that sort of thing.
Mhm.
So working remote, so this is something that's a new thing for me. Working remotely, I kind of like lost that independence because, so for example, when I am inside the house, and I'm pointing because I am now in my babe cave. I got a shed, like a finished
Love it.
shed. Yes, that like is my own like office space. That's like my little, like I have privacy. I have, so school's ending, they're going to be home in an hour. Well, doesn't mean my day ends at 3 o'clock and I still have
Mhm.
things to do until the end of the working day for most people, I have this independent space of mine. Like I found it, and it was money well spent for me, that like the pride that I have in it, that like I got myself to this point that I could do this and create this like breath of fresh air from like a day to day. Because again, you gotta think my husband works from home too. And he's on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
His work is like on the phone. I'm like, I can't listen to you all goddamn day. Like I
Yeah.
can't, like I don't
I get
have
that.
like, oh my gosh, I don't have like a separation, like hear my own thoughts. Like I just, you know, so like that was something that I made a point to do for myself. And I like started 2026 with my own like my own space that reflects me and like what I wanted, like my goals for this year. And that's one layer of it. That was one layer of it for me.
Hmm.
Truly.
I think that is such great advice. And the truth is for a lot of women, maybe we don't have the option to do a babe cave, as you said. I call mine my like she shed. It's my
Yeah.
little like
Yeah.
outdoor sunroom space I've converted to an office, but maybe we
Awesome.
don't have the full space to be able to do that and convert that for ourselves. So, I mean, you could have a nightstand that you set up with some of your things to prioritize yourself before bed. It could be a specific mirror in your house where you throw up some stickers or post-it notes with
Yes.
affirmations, right? It can be a particular cupboard in your kitchen that you bought some healthy food for yourself and that's your cupboard
Exactly.
of snacks, right? There's so many ways for women to do this, and it doesn't have to be this crazy thing where we think we have to completely turn our life upside down to prioritize ourselves. We really can do it now, today, without needing to stress about it as deeply as we think we do. So I love that advice. Now, one last question that I love to ask all of my guests on the podcast.
Oh
I want to
boy.
know, what does the word regulate mean to you?
Oof. I would say feeling calm, but like as like a Jersey girl that is like an Italian Jersey girl, like I don't know what that means. Like I have no idea what that means. For me, it would be if you look at the most important areas of your life, and you're not going to be happy in them all day, every day. But if you look at the most important areas of your life and you can honestly say you have found peace, that would reflect as like regulation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you know there's work to do, it's showing that like you're doing something right. You're doing something right, that the areas that mean the most to you give you peace in some capacity. Because when they start to not, you got to start thinking. Yeah. You
Got
got
some
some
problems
shit to think.
happening.
You got some shit to think about.
Beautiful advice to end on for today. I absolutely love it. So now for our listeners who want to connect with you, they want to learn more, they want to follow your journey, where do they go to do so?
Oh, I would say my LinkedIn. It's under somewhat my name, but you can find it at Met Marketing LLC. So it's the LinkedIn, and then you could just search Met Marketing LLC and you will find me there. But my Instagram my stories are fun to if you want to watch my crazy like life, but like I'm an unfiltered on there. So my Instagram as well is Otero927. So feel free to follow along on the wild ride. Yes.
Beautiful. And I will make sure to have all of those links below in the show notes so people can just click if they're driving or whatever else and they didn't catch it. It's going to be
Cool.
available there for you. Meredith, thank you so much for joining me today. I loved our
Oh.
conversation and I had a blast.
Oh, me too. Thank you for having me. This was super fun.
You are more than welcome. And a big thank you to all of our listeners who have been with us today. We greatly appreciate you tagging along for this conversation. If you loved what you heard, you can drop below and leave a review or send this episode to somebody you think should probably hear it. I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Go Regulate Yourself podcast. If you felt called out in the best way, I would be so honored if you drop below and leave a review or share this with a friend who needs to hear it too. And remember, regulate yourself before you wreck yourself. I'll catch you in the next episode. Mwah.